And welcome to another great KATcast. This time we're talking about favorite Christmas memories. And before we started this, Kevin goes, well, I don't have too many of those. And I go, dude, you should have all kind. You're the oldest.
You've experienced more Christmases than me and Aaron.
Many happy Christmases in my life. I was being bombastic. That's all.
Facetious.
That's all. I was facetious. That's another good word. Yeah.
What he's meaning is there's so many magical Christmas mememories
Right.
that he can't choose just one.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, young Jordan J. That's exactly what I meant.
it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
So, this the season.
All right, well, kick us off.
Well, I know Christmas at our house was always, my dad went out and got the Christmas tree. We bought it. We always bought it,
Okay.
We go out in some rinky-dink yard somewhere. Some guy was selling. Hey, you want to for a Christmas tree? Yeah, how much? $12 for this one.
Hey.
My dad would go, we take 10?
We take a tenner?
Yeah, we can do that. My dad was pretty good like that, so then we get it home, and my mom would complain about the needles in the house already.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that was it. But, we generally, I'm telling you, I've seen old home movies of one of our Christmas trees. It made the Charlie Brown tree look good. It was really, it was the most ragged looking
Really
thing.
sparse, huh?
Yeah, it was really, you can barely call this a Christmas tree. It's very sad.
Hey, but it's fine. It's you know what? It was the first Christmas tree.
It's decorated. That's the only thing we can say about
It's your
it.
Christmas twig. It's okay.
A Christmas twig.
It works.
That's a good way to
It's
put it,
my
yeah.
Christmas stick.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. How about you guys?
Well, I grew up on 120 acres, and so we would always go out with Dad and cut a tree. And I would always get mad because I'd pick a tree that was massive. Like, Dad would come home and Mom would be like, well, what's wrong with her? And he'd be like, well, she wanted this 30-footer. And I couldn't explain that's not going to fit in the house.
We got a log cabin, all right?
Yeah. We had high ceilings in the living room where it always was. But, yeah, I always wanted these giant monstrosities of trees. Yeah. And my dad's like, I ain't going to fit. And every time, that's not going to fit. That's not, nope. I heard no so many times that it was breaking my little heart. So another thing my dad always did was he never went for like the picture perfect tree. Like, he always picture Christmas as these perfect trees. Everything's wonderful. It's full. And okay, nope. Ours always had like a half dead side.
Turn that toward the wall, right?
Exactly. Put it in the corner. Nobody's ever going to know. Dad, I know. No, you don't. It's going to be fine. You're going to put it in the corner. You're going to forget all about it.
That was the only thing with decorating trees. We still have this thing. Whenever we're decorating trees, my wife is always like, okay, well, make sure you get some on the back there. Why? Nobody's looking at it. Nobody can say, it can be completely bare. Nobody's going to notice that there are no decorations on there.
I got to appreciate trees these days. So, my favorite thing about Christmas is kind of like the anticipation. It's everything that leads up to Christmas. Like, Christmas Day is fun. It's
true.
But, all throughout
it's
December.
It's almost a letdown.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Because all this,
the anticipation
all month long, you're building up to Christmas Day, and so it's super fun, and the anticipation of what you're gonna get. Oh my gosh, all the food that we're gonna eat. I love everything about Christmas time in general, but the lead up to Christmas is just so fun. And I also appreciate too some of the Christmas trees we have nowadays, right? So I've never actually had a real Christmas tree.
Oh,
I know. I never had
a fake tree.
I've always had a fake tree my entire life. I've never. My grandma and grandpa had a real tree, but again, not in our house. In our family household, we never had a real tree. And I don't know if just Dad didn't want to mess with the upkeep of keeping the tree alive.
You got to water it
stuff.
every day. Yeah, all of that.
Yeah. And so I don't know if he wanted that, or probably also didn't want sap all over the carpets, to tell you the truth. But trees nowadays, they come in 3 parts, you know what I mean? Where you can attach them, you connect them, and then boom,
and then you got to spread the branches out.
We got one of those for my father-in-law. It's the best invention ever. She's maybe a little 7-footer, she's not very big, but yeah, that comes in 3 pieces. I can literally put the tree together in 30 seconds and boom.
But I will never forget.
Ready for decoration.
I will never forget during the holidays when it was not like that, and you had 20,000 pieces to your fake tree. And somewhere along the line, Dad would be like, we're missing a J. There's a J missing. And the whole tree's done. And there's one little section that's not. He goes, where's the J?
When I first moved out of my parents' house, I moved into this rental house on High Street here in Jeff City. And it was built in the late 1920s. Anyway, it had these very high. It was a neat brick house, 2-story, and it had this really cool, maybe 15-foot ceilings. I mean, massive.
Yeah.
Okay, so my mother, because I had this big picture window that looked out onto High Street, for my first Christmas there, she bought this big tree. It was like 8 foot, and not just that, but we're talking wide.
Yeah,
too.
Like big boom.
And
Okay.
and yeah, and the tree was so big, it went through the alphabet and then started going into doubles. So double A, double B,
Oh,
double
my
C,
God.
double D. Oh, yeah. I mean, it was huge. So full that you had like maybe this much space to put presents underneath the tree. I mean, it was,
Yeah.
Man.
I loved it. I did, but did not have the room for it
Yeah.
in the house we have now. So I gifted it to a friend who's got a fantastically fabulous house on Boonville
See, that's
Road.
why you had to do that trick where it's like you don't do exactly like the bottom one.
Right.
You leave a little
Right.
room for gifts, right?
I know, but I look at it and be like, well, it looks weird.
I know.
I've said
Until
it-
you get the gifts under the tree,
Yeah.
you're like, this looks strange. Yeah,
I've
yeah.
said it for years that one of my biggest gripes with Christmas, and that's why I was so glad this year my wife
Yeah.
put our tree up. Honestly, 3 pieces, boom, 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 spread the wings, spread the
Oh, yours has
branches.
wings. Wow.
And then
Kevin's is fancy.
spread the branches, and then she hung the Christmas balls, and it's done. But years past, I hated getting that box out of storage, and then and again, that's not this tree. We
Yeah,
had other
yeah.
trees where again
Right.
it was like 8,000 pieces, and then you have to put each individual branch
Yeah.
in. Really, why are you tormenting me so? This should be a joyful exercise, and it's not.
I know.
Okay, so that was. But you know what you were saying, Jordan, about the anticipation.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, that is especially from a kid standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's like, first of all, once December arrives, it is the longest wait in the year.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
oh my God, how am I supposed to wait more than 3 weeks for this?
I know.
I'm gonna die.
Again, we lived out in the middle of nowhere, so we'd always beg Dad, can we put lights on the house?
Yeah.
He'd be like, who's gonna see the lights? Oh, we got a bunch of cattle out here.
We'll
They ain't gonna
see
see
it.
the lights. And Mom goes, I wish we would have done that for you guys when you were kids. That that would have been an easy thing to do, and we never did it. But one thing as kids that we love to do is once we got the lights on the tree,
Yeah.
and Dad would always say, you're going to knock over the dang tree. Get out from underneath there. But we like to grab a pillow and a blanket, and we would slide underneath the tree and then look up.
That was cool. Yeah.
And it was
Nice.
so beautiful. I mean, to this day, I did it the other day. And, of course, Magnus and Gemma ruined it.
They tried to come on the roof.
I think they thought I was having some sort of cardiac event. I was trying to slide underneath the little tree and look up. And they're like all in my face, like, what's going on? What are you doing? Sniff, sniff, sniff.
This is not the same experience
I'm
as
like,
when I
no,
was a
this
kid.
wasn't it's not as magical and relaxing and peaceful
Not
as
quite,
it was
not
as,
quite
as
that.
a child. Yeah.
My my wife and I were first married. The first year we were married, we had a dog named Toby, and we left him alone in the apartment where we had a Christmas tree up. Duh. Toby was in so many ways like your Magnus, and
yes.
we came home. The tree was knocked over. There was crap all over. He had taken a dump all over the apartment, and here he is, and with the tree down, he's like, "Look what I did!" Like,
Ooh.
We've had
so we had to put the tree back, and then we had to tie a string to the wall to make sure it doesn't happen again.
So I had cats for a while, and I had one that she wasn't very long or big, but she was chunky for that size.
Yeah,
She was about 10 and a half, 11 pounds, which doesn't sound very big, but she just had this heft to her, and she would climb our Christmas tree and knock it over. So finally, after 2 years of that, I thought, okay, we're just not going to have a tree while we have Jade. And that was an okay trade-off, but I missed having a tree so bad, but it was
Yeah.
not worth the broken ornaments. And,
Yeah.
I was more worried that she was going to somehow electrocute herself, with the lights. I didn't know if she was chewing on things or what was she doing that she felt she had to be in this tree. But
Have you seen those high trees they sell?
I've seen those
With-
now.
you know
They
what
didn't
I'm talking
have
about?
those.
They're like specifically
Back in
for
the day.
pets. It
Yeah.
looks like a Grinch tree.
Right.
Where it's like you're like there's nothing until about halfway up, and then it's a tree.
So you see, I guess it's supposed to prevent
Right.
cats from.
Yeah.
Which any cat worth their salt is still going to be able to get up there.
Sure.
That's not,
Yeah,
gonna-
absolutely.
But yeah, that's what it
Or
looks like.
did you guys ever decorate your trees with tinsel? Jordan, did your family ever do that?
Not really. I've seen some people do it. We have tinsel
We
at
did.
the house.
We had tinsel, yeah.
We normally we'll string tinsel around the.
It's the worst stuff.
Yeah,
it's from the pits of hell. It really is. It's
pretty much. Well, especially with when it falls off and it starts getting everywhere. But what we do is we wrap it around our like railing, like going up our stairs.
Okay, so you do like a tinsel garland.
We do like a tinsel
Okay.
garland, and then we also do it like over our kind of like where our curtains are and everything. We have them like draped around.
Yeah.
So with like our entryways, kind of like
So every year, Mom would give us
sparkly.
a box of tinsel, and I have no idea how many strands. Do you remember, Kevin, how many strands would be in a box of
hundreds.
tinsel?
I don't know.
As kids, there was 3
and they
of
came
us.
in these boxes that you kind of pull it off.
You had to pull them apart,
Yeah.
So we always had this, Mom would be like, okay, now remember, you got to pull them apart and put one at a time on. Okay.
It would take forever.
As a kid, it was great for about the first 10 minutes.
Your patience didn't.
And then you could always see where we finally gave up.
You start
it'd be
tossing
like,
it, yeah.
over here, it's like, oh, nice little icicles. Oh, isn't that pretty? And over here, big globs.
Yeah, exactly.
Done.
Exactly.
Okay, now what?
The aforementioned Toby got into the tree once with tinsel, and he ate some of the tinsel. And for a couple of days after that,
Okay, glittery poop?
Even worse, he would have the normal turds, but then there were like strings of
tinsel.
So we're like kind of
Poor guy. Oh, poor little guy.
Oh, he was a big guy. He was a shepherd mix. He was, but there he is. Yeah. He's like, oh, here comes another. Oh, there's tinsel. Here it comes.
We just literally like the past couple of days. For years, we've had this tree topper that's just too big for our tree. Like, it's a giant star, but it's like too heavy for our tree. So our tree's been like leaning over. So it's like, we got this, here's the tree. Because the tree topper. So finally, because it's so heavy and the tree, so we're like, we got a smaller star now, and now it looks beautiful. It looks perfect.
Exactly.
So we have somehow lost the ornaments and majority of our Christmas decorations. They're somewhere in the garage. We have no idea. And it's not like we have a big house. It's just there's a lot of clutter and junk and we've misplaced. So anyway, right now, our angel at the top of the tree, I just used an ornament. So she's
there you go.
She's about yay tall.
Yeah,
It just looks all weird.
She's
and
dwarfed by the tree, though, right?
Yeah.
See, and we use the plastic ornaments too, just because like we found that when we had kids, we're not doing glass.
No, that's smart.
And I'm glad we didn't, because let me tell you, they love playing with those things.
I seem to recall as a kid, we had a star. I'm trying to remember that. My brother or sister would probably remember better. But we had a star, but it had to be plugged into the wall.
Yeah,
So it
we had
the,
one of those too.
The cord that runs down, but then you have to make sure
that it could
the
reach.
extension cord is. So I don't know. It's just way too much electricity for a tree. I'm sorry.
You have this awkward like you're like, what is this? It's an amalgamation of all sorts of cords and presents. You're like, it's just a giant fireball. Actually,
That's all it is.
It's a fire hazard.
It's a tinder box.
Well, okay, so how many times
You have a generator hooked up to it.
How many times did you get all the lights on the tree and you got it all decorated, and for whatever reason nobody checked the lights before, and you go to plug it in?
The worst.
The worst.
The worst.
We're just leaving this tree the way it is.
Yeah.
No, we would just go to like Dollar General or something, and we'd buy a couple strands of lights and just put them over the other ones, and then remember to throw away the old lights.
I can't tell you how many
The
we
next
bought
time,
over the years. But if we were lucky, if it lasted a year or two, then let's get another one.
That's the
Okay.
worst. You plug it in, and all of a sudden you're like, the top's lit, the bottom's lit in the middle, and you're like, what bulb is it? You're going through and checking them all.
All right, let's talk stockings for a second.
Yes.
What did Santa always leave in your stockings?
So we
you guys remember?
It was always a lot of candy. It was always like a lot of chocolate or like a lot of some kind of sweets. I got a lot of candy. It's typically, and then we get like little smaller gifts too, typically in the stocking. And we had like real customized like old like stockings, like real awesome like embroidery ones that's like my grandma had made and stitched together with like Santa Claus, and like also it's really cool. I miss those stockings.
Those are good. We had 3 stockings. Kevin, Keith, Linda, that all had our names on it, and we always got candy. Candy was a staple. You had to have that.
Oh,
you know. Sometimes there was a candy cane or 2 in there. But then, as I recall, occasionally we got like socks in there or gloves. Which as a kid, like, nah, who wants that? So it was that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gift cards and stuff like that, we normally like
we'll put
into like the stocking, right? That's like a stocking stuffer for us.
So that wasn't when I was a kid.
Gum, by the
Santa
way,
didn't
gum.
have any of that stuff. No.
Gift cards hadn't been invented yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom had made our stockings, the 3 of us, Clint, Johnny, and Aaron, and she had put our names on the very top of like the fuzzy part with beads. So it was always really, pretty because we had a fire going. in the winter, it would, kind of reflect off the beads and look all pretty and festive. But she always, and I say she because I know it was pretty much Mom who dealt with the stockings.
Yes.
There were always the 5-flavor Lifesavers, a roll of those,
Yep.
a roll of the wild cherry, and a roll of the butter rum, which I haven't seen the butter rum in eons.
You just go blast from the past. I remember like all the time getting this from like Santa Claus or like my grandma. Remember the Lifesaver book?
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It looked like a little book, and you open it up, and it had like
there
they're all there.
flavors of yeah.
Let me tell you what.
There'd always be Big Red gum and Double Mint gum. The little 5-packs, packages of that.
Double mint.
Yeah, but then like Kevin, as we got older, it started to be things like deodorant.
Yes, me too.
Socks. Body
You're like
wash.
shower gel.
Yeah.
My poor father, whether his birthday or Christmas, he'd always open up Aqua Velva or deodorant, and he'd be like, it was the same joke every year. Are you kids trying to tell me something?
Yeah. Well, and now I'm like beard oil. Yeah. I'm like real excited
as an
about
adult
it.
now, I'm like, man, I miss the stockings and deodorant and body wash.
Let's talk about
Been gay. You get excited.
That's right, getting out.
Let's talk about Christmas Eve.
Okay.
When you went to bed on Christmas Eve,
The longest night of the year.
I'm telling you, it's true. My
100%.
brother and I shared a room like basically our entire childhood.
man.
Okay.
Good luck sleeping on Christmas Eve. Are you
and
kidding
he was
me?
in the bed right next to mine. We'd be talking like, I thought I heard something. I don't know. You start hearing imaginary sounds.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Santa on the roof.
My sister be coming. She'd be knocking on my door.
Yeah.
She's like, I think I heard Santa on the roof.
Yeah.
And we'd be sitting there listening,
Yeah.
We always left a note for Santa with the cookies and milk.
Oh, yeah.
And we left lettuce or carrots or something for the reindeer.
Oh, wow. You were thoughtful.
Oh, yeah. So
You never leave carrots to the reindeer?
No!
We did.
Oh, no,
we did too.
We wanted to make sure. So, sure enough, we'd get up in the morning, and there's a note from Santa, and it said, "Dear kids, thanks for the cookies and milk, and the reindeer really enjoyed the carrots. Love, Santa." I go, he left us a note, and I got to tell you guys, his handwriting was a spitting image of my mother's. It was amazing.
Did you open
he and
your
her had the
refrigerator
same
and see
handwriting.
those carrots again? Did you
Did
you open the fridge and see those carrots from the night before?
No, they were actually half eaten. They were chewed. Yeah. So
There's one year we didn't have carrots, so we set out radishes, funny enough, for the reindeer.
Radishes?
They might like radishes.
Once
They
it
ate
turned out to be that they're toxic to reindeer.
Oh, God.
them. Yeah.
So-
this just
George
says
killed the reindeer.
Our rooms, mine was next door to my brother Johnny's, and our brother Clint was across the hall from us. So yeah, it'd be the same thing. Only, Mom would always say, okay, Santa's not going to come unless you're in bed. So Clint was 9.5 years older than me. I'm the baby, and Johnny's the middle child. And so, it'd just be like, okay, well, Mom said we had to stay in bed. So it'd just be like loud whispering. Did you hear something? Like, we really think we're being quiet.
Yeah.
No. Did you hear something? Maybe. It's just,
And
we thought we were being really stealth.
Yeah.
when morning came, you knew. I mean, okay, we would routinely get up at like 5 in the morning. Okay, you couldn't do that for a school day.
Oh, I
No.
know.
But
I know.
5 in the morning.
But for Christmas or Saturday morning cartoons, we were up with the roosters.
We would go into my parents' room. It was like, Mom, Dad, it's Christmas morning. And my dad was like, they're bleary eyed because in many cases they were up almost all night putting a bike together or putting something together. So they've only been in bed for like an hour, man.
Right.
My dad was like, okay, you all go back to bed. 6 o'clock. I don't want anybody up before 6 or whatever.
Oh, you do that too.
Go back to
It'd be
bed.
4:30 a.m. We're like, all right, we've waited long enough. Santa has his opportunity to be here now. I know the gifts are there.
Well, sorry
are you
about
okay,
that.
Eric?
Jordan banged
I'm sorry.
the counter, and my phone did not like that as it's sitting on a roll of
We thought
toilet
Aaron
paper.
really did have a coronary there.
No, but kind of
no.
felt like I did.
But yeah, no, that's yeah, exactly.
Christmas morning was like, that was it, man. It was like, ain't no more sleeping going on. I'm sorry.
Dad would
4:30
usually
a.m.
make biscuits and gravy that morning, and so we would always open the presents, and we'd have breakfast, and then don't go planning Dad's whole day.
That's
Just
right,
Out the door,
exactly.
usually we were too. So
I always loved that.
A lot of good memories, though.
Parents take forever to get ready in the morning too, like on Christmas Day. Let me make a coffee. Be like, I don't got no time for no coffee.
yeah,
We'd love to hear your Christmas memories. Stories about Christmas. I'm looking at my phone here. It's like I'm like on really low power, it's so low that it's gone dark on me. Okay.
Okay, so let's wrap it up.
Yeah. So
if
you got a Christmas memory.
Yeah, share it with us. catcountry@mailzimmer.com, or you could always call or text us 573-893-9494.
All right.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Merry Christmas from all of us. Yeah, and that's another Cat Country KATcast.